Week 2 of my Pokemon Draft League is complete. This was a tough one for me, but I think I learned some lessons and I'll be taking those forward with me to Week 3. But I'll be going over all of those takeaways at the end of the video. Anyways, this is the team I was facing up against in Week 3. Against this team, the 6 Pokemon I ended up bringing was Urshifu, Kingambit, Weezing, Regigigas, Kilowattrel, and Crocodile. And the idea was for those to each be kind of duos with each other. So Kilowattrel and Crocodile together, we could use Earthquake and Discharge, which are moves that normally hit your teammate, but of course they're both immune to each other, being Flying and Ground. But yeah, as for the sets, one interesting thing I did do was I ran Ice Spinner on Urshifu with Never Melt Ice as the held item for an extra damage boost to the Ice move. This is because the opponent had a few Ice weaknesses. Honestly, I hesitated about bringing Urshifu at all, considering it was really not doing much into this team, but my team is built around it, so I did decide to bring it. I'll talk more about my decision on how I handled Urshifu at the end of this video, whether there are things I would change if I could do it again or not. But other than that, the sets are pretty basic. I did do an aggressive set on Gigas, running Silk Scarf for extra damage, as well as Double Edge, which is a recoil move. And I had Dragon Tail on Crocodile in case one of the opposing Pokemon used setup moves. But with that being said, let's take a look at the battles. Okay, so off rip, these were not the Pokemon I was expecting. I'm very surprised to see Heatran and Tyranitar, as my Urshifu is really good into them, which is also my best Pokemon, so they would assume I'm bringing it. So I'm already, I started regretting putting the Ice item on Urshifu. It was already something I was unsure about. It was kind of a gimmicky thing, and I did that instead of something like Mystic Water or Life Orb, and now I'm really regretting it. Like, dang, I could have used the extra damage to my Water move against those two. But anyway, I go with Gigas Weezing for my leads. I think they're a safe lead against any matchup, and they're good for Game 1 scouting. Turn 1, I go for Poison Gas and Double Edge, hoping to get some nice chip damage early with the Poison and take out Palafin, which is threatening my Crocodile. This was a really bad turn, though. Amoonguss switches in, which is immune to poison, so the Poison Gas was pretty bad. And even worse, Cresselia set up Trick Room. I really should have seen this coming. Maybe I was expecting Cresselia to just attack Weezing, since it's weak to Psychic. I'm not sure. I don't want to give excuses, because I did make bad plays, but I was really distracted during this entire game. I'll talk more about that at the end, though. Anyways, now that Trick Room's up, I'm in a very tricky situation. My instincts to stall it out with Protect. My opponent read this and punished me with a free switch into Enamorus. I am able to see that Amoonguss wants to sleep my Weezing, but honestly, I don't know what to do with that information. Weezing's good against their team, but I also don't want to switch him out because of Regigigas getting slow started if I do. Also don't want to have my other Pokemon slept. I make the call to just keep him in and hope he doesn't get slept. I also think I can do big damage to Enamorus here with Double Edge, allowing for Kilowattrel to come in and clean up the kills. Unfortunately, Weezing does get slept, and Regigigas dies. I didn't expect Moonblast to do so much damage. Regigigas was over half health and he's neutral to Fairy. So, yeah. Both of these Pokemon on the enemy team are weak to my Kilowattrel. I have a choice. I can Air Slash to kill the Amoonguss, or I can go for Discharge to do big damage on Enamorus, who is weak to Electric. I make the wrong call. I go for Air Slash, and Amoonguss swaps to Cresselia, and it does almost no damage to it. On top of that, Enamorus hits a mean Dazzling Gleam to do almost all of the Kilowattrel's HP. So I could stall the final turn with Protect on Kilowattrel. I go for Sludge Bomb on Weezing just in case it does wake up. I don't think there's a point in protecting here. Get the surprise move. And lucky enough, Weezing actually does wake up and gets the kill on Enamorus. This was pretty lucky, but I'm still in a really bad position here. Palafin's weak to Kilowattrel, and I'm finally out of Trick Room. Things could be worse. Palafin's weak to Electric on Kilowattrel, and I'm finally out of Trick Room, so it should go first. I go for Discharge, of course, but unfortunately Palafin had a priority move, which kills my Kilowattrel. At this point, I'm certain I have lost this game. I only have 2 Pokemon left, while the opponent has 3, and 2 of them are essentially full health. I'm expecting Palafin to use a water move on my Crocodile, so I Terra Grass to prevent losing it. However, Palafin protects. Weezing does hit the Sludge Bomb. Unfortunately, Amoonguss switched, so it's not very effective against Cresselia, but it does get the poison, which is nice. At this point, I just want to do as much damage as possible. I go for knockoff into Palafin instead of Cresselia. Maybe I was assuming I could take out the Cresselia later with knockoff. Maybe I was hoping to kill it with spread damage. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because Crocodile resists water and fighting now that he's a Grass Terra. But anyway, Weezing barely survives a helping hand, and I'm able to get their Pokemon down to really low health. This is a pretty good spot. I go for the Protect and Earthquake, and so at this point, they were taking a long time in their turn. I cut it out of the video, but I ended up changing my mind for some reason. I canceled the move and go for Protect Knockoff instead. I'm not sure why I swapped out of the Earthquake, but I definitely think one takeaway that I should add to this video is that I need to stop doubting myself so much. I feel like when turns go too long, I just cancel my mind. Like, I change my mind last minute and change my moves. But anyway, it takes out the Cresselia, and I'm in a really good situation here against the remaining Amoonguss Palafin. And on the next turn, Dazzling Gleam and Knockoff is able to clean them up, and I somehow win game 1. And wow, that was a stressful one. I'm feeling good because I thought I was going to lose, and I managed to win, but damn, I played really bad. I don't know how I managed to win that one. I think my opponent's going to adjust. I'm almost certain they will. I also think, though, that if I had played better, I could have won a lot cleaner of a manner. My Pokemon did match up decently well into their team. I was just playing really poorly. So, anyway, game 2. Who do I pick? I decide to keep the team the same, but switch the leads. And they lead Heatran Amoonguss. Unfortunate because I don't have my Urshifu, but Earthquake is effective against Heatran, so that's good. Turn 1 comes, I decide to go for full damage using my synergy between the 2 Pokemon. I go Earthquake for the super effective on Heatran and Air Slash for the super effective on Amoonguss. They read this really well. Heatran Terra's Bug does nothing. They switch to Cresselia, it does nothing, and my Kilowattrel once again is almost dead. This was a little bit tilting, but I go for knockoff into Cresselia. They can't Terra again, and I go for the discharge of Kilowattrel. It's going to die anyway. I might as well keep it in. I guess it's the thought process. I only get 15% as Heatran protects, and Cresselia lives with 1 HP. That hurts really bad. I guess it's good they don't get a free switch, but still, I'd rather get the KO. I don't have anything too good for Bug. I have Sludge Bomb, which is likely why I brought Weezing in to take it out with. But also, I'm scared to Earthquake now, as it will do super effective damage to my own teammate, the Weezing. Watching this recording back, the correct move here would definitely be Sludge Bomb into Heatran, but instead I just go Knockoff, try to clean up the Cresselia, and Heatran sets up as a substitute. So Weezing didn't even get attack, just wasted to protect, and now Heatran's behind a sub. This is really bad. If I had just Sludge Bomb, I win. I win this game. I get the kills. That's all I had to do. Now, I don't want to Earthquake once again because I don't want to hurt my Weezing. I'm thinking about high horsepowering the Amoonguss. But I decided to switch into Regigigas. I didn't switch at all last game, so I'm thinking maybe switching could be good. But then I changed my mind. I do go for the Earth Power into Amoonguss. Oh, I'm really thinking it over. And I doubled down on my mistake into Heatran. I Sludge Bomb the Amoonguss too, trying to pick up the KO. Heatran does a lot of damage, and I do get the KO on Amoonguss, which is nice. The last Pokemon was Tyranitar. Dang, if I had my Urshifu, this would be such an easy cleanup. But I don't have it. Once again, I protect Weezing. I go for Earthquake. I protect Weezing because I don't want to take damage from Earthquake. And I'm hoping that the Earthquake will kill the Tyranitar. But they switch into Cresselia to preserve the Tyranitar, and the Heatran protects. Now, I definitely want to kill the T-Tar with a ground move, so I go for high horsepower into it. And I can't protect on Weezing, so I might as well finally break that sub. So I'm going to go for Sludge Bomb into the Heatran. The Magma Storm does so much damage. And the Rock Slide KOs the Crocodile. I break the sub. But this is not the best position. It's a 2v2. Gigas is really strong. This is super winnable game. Regigigas is the fastest thing on the floor. The question is Heatran going to protect, sub, or use Magma Storm and do a ton of damage to Regigigas? Obviously, I can kill Tyranitar here with Double Edge, or I could do a ton of damage to Heatran. With hindsight, playing this game, I think the correct move is to Double Edge the Tyranitar so it doesn't kill my Weezing. But it looks like I went for Double Edge into Heatran and Dazzling Gleam, assuming Dazzling Gleam will kill the Tyranitar because it's a Dark type. Oh, but I cancel. What did I do? So just watching this back again, I just wanted to say I should have Double Edged the Tyranitar. It would have been a 2v1. The Heatran or Tyranitar could kill my Weezing right now because they outspeed. I didn't do that though. I did maintain my Weezing, but I'm in a really bad spot now because Weezing's going to die next turn, and they still have 2 Pokemon in the field. And even though Regigigas is fast, he's not going to win a 2v1 with that HP level. Weezing's dead to Magma Storm here, or Rock Slide. Now Regigigas is left in a 1v2. Horrible, horrible misplay by me. All I had to do, either Double Edge the Tyranitar, or use Dazzling Gleam, but not protect the Weezing. I don't understand what the point of that was. Anyway, they protect, and I went for the Heatran. Just salt in the wound. Regigigas goes down, Tyranitar goes down to the Dazzling Gleam, proving it would have before, and Weezing goes down to Magma Storm, and I lose game 2. I'm not going to lie. That game had me very rattled emotionally. I wasn't literally angry or anything, but I was a little bit shaken up. I had that game in the bag. I knew I had the game in the bag, and I blew it. I played poorly, straight up. I guess I can elaborate on what was going on in real life at this point. So there were some delays to the game starting, and because of that, I was doing this game while I was making dinner, and I had an alarm going off that my food was ready, my rice was done cooking upstairs, and I also had some stuff that I put in the oven that I needed to check to make sure it wasn't burning. But I didn't want to go upstairs in the middle of the game to do it. But that was in the back of the mind. It was stressing me out. I wasn't thinking straight. At the end of the day, that's an excuse. It's my fault. I shouldn't have played a game while I was cooking dinner. I should have postponed the match. And I should have taken my time. If I take my time, I win it. Now game 3, I don't know what to do. I really want to bring my Urshifu now because they brought the Tyranitar and Heatran and they won, so maybe they'll do it again. But my mental's all over the place, and at this point, I don't know. I go with Kilowattrel and Crocodile as my lead. I like that lead. I think the synergy worked well. I just need to not fumble my Kilowattrel again. I keep losing it too early. And in the back, I have Urshifu this time and Weezing. So, off rip, I'm just going to pause this. What should I do here? With hindsight. Not remembering what I did because I played this game a week ago. Obviously, Kilowattrel is being threatened by a Rock Slide by Tyranitar, but it's also threatening the Palafin. I should probably either protect Kilowattrel or switch it out. I would say if I could play this game again, I would switch into Urshifu here, because Crocodile can do super effective to Tyranitar. Now on Crocodile, I don't know if I Earthquake or I protect. I'm worried about a water move, so I probably would switch to Urshifu here and protect the Crocodile. But I don't think I did that. Let's see what I did. As if I learned nothing from the first 2 games, I'm thinking about going for a Discharge. They have switched out to Cresselia every time I go for a super effective move, or Terrad. Thinking, do I just go Discharge, Earthquake, Looks like I go Protect Earthquake because I don't want to lose Kilowattrel again. Well, I'm thinking about doing High Horsepower directly for more damage, but I do go for the Earthquake just in case they switch. Okay, seeing the Mungus swap is nice because it's weak to Earthquake, but it doesn't do much damage. Top of that, Tyranitar Terras to Grass and does a ton with Terra Blast. I'll be honest, there's no world where I'm imagining that play right there. Tyranitar, Terra Grass, Terra Blast, that wasn't on my mind at all. I thought Crocodile was safe. The annoying thing is that I could have Terra'd my Crocodile to Grass though. I could have done it to protect myself from Palafin anyway. If I was going to Earthquake, I should have Terra'd to Grass to protect from Palafin. But instead it would have protected me from the Grass Terra Blasts. They're both grass types, they're both weak to Air Slash, but I still have to be careful of Rock Slide, which can kill me. So probably I should Terra Kilowattrel here. Right, I don't want to take the rock damage. I get super lucky actually. Tyranitar flinches and isn't able to kill my Kilowattrel, which I'm almost certain it would have gone for the Rock Slide. And I'm able to go into Urshifu. Let's pause here. This is actually a decent situation for me. It's a 3v4. However, both of their Pokemon are really low, and their attack stats are lowered, and I outspeed them. I could kill Amoonguss or Tyranitar with an Air Slash here. It depends which one I want to target. I also have Ice Spinner on Urshifu. I haven't used Urshifu all game. They have no idea I have Ice Spinner. In theory, I Air Slash one, I Ice Spinner the other, and I kill both of them. Let's see what happens, though. I'm actually curious. I don't remember. I know for a fact Air Slash will do over 36%, so I go for that on the Tyranitar. Because I know that's going to kill, and I go for the Ice Spinner on, and they switch. But that was still the right play. I didn't do much damage because water resists ice, but it's still a little bit, and I was able to kill the Tyranitar. So now it's a 3v3. This is actually a pretty good situation. Okay, looks like I am going for the Discharge Detect. Air Slash Ice Spinner probably is better, but Discharge Detect, let's see what happens. The worst thing that could happen here is probably Palafin protecting and Amoonguss going for Slate Powder on Kilowattrel. And the Jet Punch does 75%. I was not expecting that at all. I mean, I thought Kilowattrel resisted fighting moves, first of all, because it's a flying type. But I guess I just, I had that misunderstanding because flying is effective against fighting. But anyway, I didn't expect Kilowattrel to lose that much health to Palafin. I'm glad it's almost dead, but so is my Kilowattrel, and it dies for sure to a priority move here, or Sandstorm if it protects. So what do I do here? There's no point in switching the Kilowattrel out here. Well, maybe I should actually. If I'm predicting a Jet Punch again, I switch into Weezing. Weezing is a Poison Fairy. It super resists fighting moves. That would be a really good play here. Terra Steel does resist the Grass Poison, but the thing is I'm weak to Jet Punch now, and it's a priority move. So what I need to do is protect Urshifu and Dazzling Gleam, exactly. If I Dazzling Gleam, I take both of them down. That's the smartest thing to do here. What do I do instead? Dazzling Gleam does kill it. All I had to do was protect Urshifu, and I win the game. That's it. Protect Urshifu. But I didn't do that. Let me explain. For some reason, I thought this was a 2v2. These are the final Pokemon. So I thought, it doesn't matter, even if I lose Urshifu here, Weezing versus Amoonguss, I just win the game easily. When this turn ended, and I saw Heatran come in, my heart dropped. I forgot they had a fourth Pokemon. I don't know how, but in the rush of the game, I thought it was a 2v2 and it was over. If I had just been paying more attention, I would have known Terra Steel on Urshifu was a horrible idea because they could potentially have Heatran, which he would kill him with Fire Blast. But also, I should have protected Urshifu because Urshifu would have been able to kill the Heatran, right? Assuming a Dazzling Gleam protect, then I would have killed the Palafin, Amoonguss would have survived on low, and Urshifu would still be alive right now. But anyway, after this, I went upstairs and... So, what are my takeaways? First off, I still believe in my team. I think I could have won all of those games if I had just played slower and played smarter. That being said, I could have also benefited a lot from rigging Annihilate. it would have been really good into the team of 6 that ended up being brought. But anyways, here's the story of what had happened that day, what put me into that kind of nervous mental state. So the match was originally supposed to be at 2 p.m., but at 2 p.m., the opponent messaged me and asked if we could play in 2 hours instead. I said yes, and just messaged me before. I didn't set an alarm for 4 because I didn't know if they would be busy still and be ready at exactly 4 p.m. That's why I asked him to message me before. At 4:45, I realized that he never messaged me. I was working, by the way, which is why I didn't notice until 4:45. I work from home. It's not a big deal for me to take a short break to play, though. But anyways, at 4:45, I realized he didn't message me, so I asked him if he's ready, and he said 15 minutes. I said okay, but this was my big mistake. At this point, I had just started cooking dinner. I promised my girlfriend earlier in the week that I would start cooking dinner before 5 o'clock because we were roasting veggies, and it needed a long time to cook. At 5 o'clock, come game time, I had rice on the stove and different kinds of vegetables roasting in the oven. Again, this was my mistake. I didn't want to postpone the game again this was my mistake. I didn't want to postpone the game because it had already been postponed 3 times. However, looking back at it, I should have. I ended up being super anxious and distracted during the whole game due to alarms on my phone for the food and also fear of burning the food. Also, my girlfriend comes home at 5:30 and I wanted to finish the game before then. So my biggest takeaway is to be more demanding that I only play when I have time to really focus on the game. I shouldn't be compromising myself by playing at a time when I'm busy and distracted. My next biggest takeaway is, like I said earlier, to take more time on my turns. These past 2 weeks, I've made so many avoidable mistakes. Going into week 3, I'm going to try to prioritize taking more time on my turn and thinking through all of the options. Lastly, I think I should think about the terror types a little bit more. On Weezing and Regigigas, I did Fairy and Ghosts, but for example, if I had something like Steel on Gigas, it would have been better. I could have used it in Trick Room against Amoonguss and Enamorus, and it would have walled them. Steel, it would have been really good into both of those types. But yeah, that's it for week 2. I'm going to try my best to win week 3, and hopefully not make the same mistakes again. If you made it this far, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate it.